Alright guys, welcome back to a brand new video today. So in this video we're looking at the one scout rifle that I actually enjoy using and I feel confident using in any sort of public match. Obviously if I'm on like something like Thieves Den, it's not going to work too well, but for maps like Crossroads, Burning Shrine, Widow's Court, Rusted Lands, Blind Watch, stuff like that, it actually works pretty well. And obviously the Mida is still good and the Mida is still fairly effective on most all maps, but as far as legendaries, I found that this one is my favorite so far. So my specific role has Zen Moment, Small Bore, and then Outlaw. Now it doesn't have the greatest sights on it, and I didn't really like any of the sights at first, but I've been using True Sight on it since this is like the only one that I enjoy using, especially since Destiny maps in general are pretty small, so you don't really need any sort of long range precision sight even for something like a scout rifle. So it feels really good. We're gonna take it into some Rumble and see how it performs. So originally I had planned to do a live commentary, and that's why you heard me just about 5 seconds ago saying let's go ahead and hop into a Rumble game and see how it does. But because I am right next to the bathroom in my house, there's a little bit of the situation in there and I wasn't able to record a live commentary without background noises. So I'm just going over the scout rifle itself, kind of how scout rifles feel in PvP right now and that whole sort of general situation. So first off, starting with my scout rifle roll, I really love having Outlaw on it. It seems like, because I do have small bore and I get rid of like 1 to 2 bullets I think off my magazine size, and you'll notice that I kind of run out of ammo from time to time. So having Outlaw, so that if you get like a quick 4-tap to the head or any sort of headshot kill, you can reload extremely fast and be ready to get in another gunfight. I really like that. Outlaw overall, even if it doesn't feel like it's doing that much for you, I just like the crispiness of being able to reload like super fast. For my sight, I mentioned earlier that I'm running True Sight, and originally I had wanted something like Red Dot, and I preferred Red Dot, but it seems like it's really sluggish on scout rifles. I don't know why. Just overall it's a slower sight, and for scout rifles, because of how PvP maps are designed, they're extremely small, there's lots of cover, and you need to be aiming in and out relatively fast. So for this one, I just felt like True Sight felt a lot quicker, a lot snappier, the zoom was relatively low, and overall when I like kind of went back and compared it to old Red Dot scout rifles I had, I actually ended up preferring this one more. Small bore is good for adding range and stability so that you don't feel an aim assist drop off at long range, while at the same time the weapon feels really good and fairly effective at a closer range. So stability going slightly up and range going slightly up is overall a plus in my opinion. So the scout rifle overall, very good range, very good stability. It reloads insanely fast if you get headshot kills, and that's kind of why it's my favorite. The sight, like I said earlier, it's very snappy for scout rifle sights. I do have the other 2 longer range options, but when it comes down to it, I still prefer this one. And like I said, with Destiny's maps and how they're designed, the long range sights really aren't going to do too much for you. They're slower overall. The zoom is a little bit too high, and the reticles are like really weird. Like they're like big, round, intricate designs, and it just didn't feel good overall. So this scout rifle for me has been perfect. As far as scout rifles kind of overall are, they're not really the best choice. They're essentially, like, the way I like to think about them is they're kind of like a worse version of hand cannons. Hand cannons have their issues with accuracy and ghost bullets and bloom and all that, but overall, what I noticed, because I kept on playing after this gameplay, I played a few control games, I played a few skirmish games, and what I generally took away from it is if I get on a map that's really open and I'm challenging at medium range, even though it's medium range and you might expect that I'd have a decent chance of winning with a scout rifle, scout rifles receive a lot of flinch if you haven't noticed. So if you're in the middle of shooting someone with a scout rifle and you get shot by a clever dragon, or even shot once or twice from an ISO, you notice that your reticle starts bumping everywhere. And that's the biggest thing for me, I think, is that they just really don't have good resistance to flinch, if that makes any sense. Like hand cannons, when I'm being shot even by like a non-high cal clever dragon, it's really not that bad and I can still aim and shoot people fairly well. But with a scout rifle, when you're engaging at medium distances where you're going to get shot by pulse rifles, hand cannons, and auto rifles fairly easily, it's really hard to win a gunfight. And hand cannons are kind of a weapon that thrives when you're like peak shotting. Like if you're behind a rock or whatever, you can pop in and out. If you're playing against like a clever dragon and you have a hand cannon, you just kind of go in and out of cover and get your individual shots, because you can get a lot of potential damage off really fast, because you have 86 damage headshots, like 57 damage body shots. But for a scout rifle, you can try to do that, but you just don't get enough damage off to the point where it's really effective. So the peak shotting just really isn't the same as hand cannons, and if you get caught out in the middle of the open, then they still feel really weak. It's kind of a weapon where you have to be on a humongous map where you're just shooting people from insanely long distances and they're just not looking at you. Primarily that being something like Widow's Court or Blind Watch. But overall feels good. I think scout rifles could use a change in PvP. I mentioned some potential changes, I think, as far as flinch reduction and flinch output increase on I think it was a video I made around a month ago. But hopefully in this next balance patch we see a few changes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Overall very good weapon, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace.